I let shitty things and people who have wronged me that I've trusted live in my head rent-free.
Now is the perfect time to work at Amazon. They are offering hourly jobs with great pay and even include a large sign-on bonus. No matter where you're at in the job market, you can select from a variety of available roles in your area. Join an exciting work environment and be part of a team that brings smiles to customers every day. To find the job that works for you and some extra cash, go to amazon.com/apply. That's amazon.com/apply. Amazon is proud to be an equal opportunity employer.
At Walgreens, we know February is the season for LOVE. It's also something sweet for your sweetheart season. Or my favorite, wait, that's today's season? Or the just found out my kid has a crush season. Good luck, Mom. This Valentine's Day, Walgreens makes it easy to quickly get last-minute gifts with pickup in as little as 30 minutes. Because if it's Cupid season, it's Walgreens season.
Right now, select fragrances are 20% off. Offer valid through 2/26 while supplies last. Restrictions apply. See Walgreens.com for details.
Welcome to the Secret Life Podcast. Tell me your secret. I'll tell you mine. Sometimes you have to go through the darkness to reach the light. That's what I did. After 12 years of recovery in sex and love addiction, I finally found my soulmate, myself. Please join me in my novel, Secret Life of a Hollywood Sex and Love Addict, a 4-time bestseller on Amazon. It's a brutal, honest, raw, gnarly ride, but hilarious at the same time. Check it out now on Amazon. Welcome to Secret Life Podcast. I'm Breanne Davis-Gant. Today, I'm pulling back the curtains of all kinds of human secrets. We'll hear about what people are hiding from themselves or others. You know those deep, dark secrets you probably want to take to your grave? Or those lighter, funnier secrets that are just plain embarrassing? Really, the how, what, when, where, and why of it all. Oh my God, today we have the best guest ever. I had to track her down and get her to come on Secret Life Podcast. Today we have Vicki. I have a question for you. Dun, dun, dun. What is your secret?
I let shitty things and people who have wronged me that I've trusted live in my head rent-free.
Yes, it's that rent-free shit. Why do we do that?
These aren't like someone I was married to or these are shitty, I won't say shitty people, shitty things, that it's small things, that it's like you're helping somebody, you're working with somebody, you're trusting somebody, you're talking to them so much on the phone to help them through something. And then, when something changes or happens, or frankly, the rubber meets the road, if they're supposed to do something and they don't, or you find out they've been BSing you for, I know better. I've done better. And I'm sharing with moms every day for 11 years about rising up, stepping up, being the champion of your life. And I'm going to step back a second. And I don't know how this popped in my head, but ever since you invited me, I keep thinking this is my time to share a juicy, salacious, like how exciting, because again, open books. I'm like, what have I not shared, with some really, again, scary things. But as I'm, working crazy hours because it's really busy here. And then I'm like, my calming, my meditation is cleaning and organizing. It's just like doing the dishes, clean, green, sustainable products. And I got this crappy stuff floating around, marinating in my head. And I'm like, why am I thinking about that? Knowing that and I've broken it down, whether it's in a month, that it's like, is it going to matter in 5 years? Is it going to matter in 5 months?
Yeah, that's what I always ask. Is it going to matter in 5 years? But here's the thing. It's almost like we keep that in the back of our head because a part of us believes we actually deserved it. Like there's a part of us that allow these people to be rent-free because we don't then have to step into our power. Do you think it has to tie to that? Because you're a powerful woman. You're running this organization. You're telling women to live their truth. And then incognito in the back of your mind, you're letting these old scenarios mess you up, fuck you up during the day.
Completely. And what's interesting, and I don't know if it's better or worse, and I'm sure you can relate, our days as your days are swamped. I'm like bringing my best game always, no matter what I do. And I've been that my whole life. So you're showing up as a best athlete, whether you're, in your old converted playroom, that's your office, whether you're meeting with people out, whatever it is. But then when it's time for us to decompress, when it's time to wind down, whether it's 10:30 at night, 11:30, 8:30, and whatever time it is, that's when this is my sacred time. And when I look back, and it's wild, because for the past 4 days, I was like, really like, okay, what do I want to talk about? Living with a drug addict, getting molested, scary things I still can't even like talk about business-wise, that thank God I survived, and they're really gifts, because to go through something so devastating and you come through the storm, and I should have this at my fingertips, and I can always find it, while we're on, because it's a beautiful poem, and it's about getting through the storm, and you're not really sure if you're through the storm, but you kind of know you are. But when you become a different person on the other side of it.
You do become a different person, but there's a part of us that holds on to the past because that's easier to accept than stepping into our power. I believe, for me, just as a recovering addict in sex and love, that like I will still hold on to that girlfriend that didn't show up for me, a relative that didn't show up for me, a business partner that took money from me and abused my hours. All that stuff, I still let it spin in my head because a part of me doesn't think I'm worthy of something better. Do you feel like you still do that, even though you're at this pinnacle of your career? And that it's kind of not embarrassing, but you're like, wait a minute, I'm doing all these amazing things, but in the back of my mind, I'm like running all these old scenarios that don't serve me anymore.
You nailed it. That's it. And even the like the old stuff, that I would feel guilt because I'd come home when I was a software developer and I produced video, software, music. Number one, where they went, no marketing budget, no know-how. Like, what the fuck am I doing? You get it done. You don't try, you get it done. And so I don't think about, coming home at the end of the day and I'm so about being present with my kids, and my kids would say, Mom, you so were. But then when they were little, I'd come home and artists would be fighting. And then, they're like doing, like fuck over stuff in the back room. You know what I mean? Like destroy business. So I don't think about that stuff. But as I was thinking about all this, I think about kind of what's like, I don't even know if it's like a 3-month period or a 6-month period. And then it's like, shit, I knew I'd stop thinking about that, but to think about it at all. And then when I went back, I thought I did used to think about those artists years ago, and all the way through, there's always that little stuff. And it's interesting because when I mentioned it to my daughter, and she was like, wow, like when she brought up about that's something so interesting to unpack. And I thought, because I'm just glued. Again, when we listen to your podcast, I'm like glued. I'm like, oh my God, we didn't, there was a period to talk to my sister. I can relate to a lot of this stuff, but this little, if you will, low energy, low vibrational stuff that we've done better. And, it's weird. It's not weird, but like, I think of how many women, like, I don't think of myself as a badass. I think when you are, you just don't think of it. You just do it. You get it done. But it's the same thing. We know better, and I'm advising, and everything I'm advising, I'm living and I'm doing and I'm working on. So it has to be coming back to that feeling of worthiness. And what I was starting totally, and I was starting to say, and this is so random, but when I was again thinking about all this, I thought of years ago, Carly Simon talking about an assistant who did her wrong. And I don't know what song is her song about that, but it was some interview I heard, and I thought, I'm not alone. You know what I mean? Like this, and I know friends, whether it's business associates, if it's au pairs, if it's best friends, if it's whatever it is, this stuff happens. And here we, as women, as moms, we stand up, show up, we're tough, we do everything we need to. And then as founders, as CEOs, as building a, business, we have this global business. It's all about badass moms and women and empowering them, and everybody's standing up. And then I'm getting tripped up in my time where I should be like, This is self-care. This is sacred.
Recharging. This is my time. Yeah. But that's where
that shit in my head.
Yeah. That's where those little voices come in and say, see, you messed up in the past. You're probably going to do it again. You're not worthy. It's not going to work out. Should I trust somebody? Should I trust myself? Should I trust my own instincts? All those things come up because a part of us still doesn't believe that we deserve what we have. And that's what, for me, when I hang on to those old relationships and situations is about. It's almost self-abuse.
I feel like it is. It's a very subtle, but it's spiritually deadly. And it's interesting because also when you have kids, with my daughter who's, living this bold, beautiful, vibrant life, and my boys, I have 2 boys, and, she's leaving for London soon. And and she'll say, am I self-sabotaging? Why am I stuck with this? And she'll do like amazing things. And then she'll be like, but I didn't edit this video well enough. I didn't show up enough, or I was anxious, or, all that type of stuff. And, we want to live clean and present and not have crap hold us down. You know what I mean? Not clutter.
And we don't want to teach our daughters that, or our kids that. The same thing we're doing to ourselves. So how do we stop doing it? How do you stop doing it? It's so wild. You're so reading my mind. Cause I don't know, can I ask you like how, would you suggest we stop doing it? And I know I'm not alone. And you, again, these, powerhouse women that I don't mean to say the little, but and even holding on to people where we're like, well, I really needed that assistant for a bit, knowing they're like diabolically, taking the worst pictures of you, whatever it is. It's just. No, but that's it. Even like getting your hair cut and they're cutting too much. There's a part of us that silences ourselves saying, hey, can you not cut so much? Hey, no, I just said half an inch. It's the same kind of self-sabotage that we don't stand up for ourselves. So when we don't stand up for ourselves in those past situations, they replay in our head, trying to figure out how to do different, do better, not do the same. Or it's saying, oh, you're going to mess up again. You didn't do it well enough and all that. So I 100% agree. No matter how powerful you are, you have those thoughts. So we have to stop that self-sabotage behavior.
We have to. And if there's something, I mean, I know your plate's full, my plate's full, and I know we're going to be doing some really exciting stuff monthly with moms, and our moms are the women who are on our live. There's been so much like feedback, and they're loving your book, whether they bought your book or they bought the audio version of your book, which was the first time I bought an audio version.
Oh my God.
Exciting. Yeah.
That makes me so happy.
It's amazing. It's like, you can't put it down. So whatever the audio, you can't stop listening to it, but maybe there's something we can collaboratively or collectively do what we find out. Because I find so often when I hear how other people navigate through things and what they do, and it's easy, if you will, with my daughter, it's like, just stop. This is through years of figuring stuff out.
Yeah.
And, put your energy where you want it to go. Is this nourishing you? Is this depleting you? So it's got to be, is it nourishing us and depleting us? And knowing all the stuff, it probably gets back to that worthy. And also asking. Years ago, I was in media and I was working at a radio station. I was the account executive, and, there'd be 2 or 3 account executives with an assistant. And I was like, I'm never asking you to make reservations. I'm never asking you to make calls. You don't have to type up my stuff. And it was just like, I wanted to help mentor her. And she went on to be a manager of a station and had a rock star career. But, it was consciously, I don't need you to do these things for me. I want you to grow and flourish, like, I'm here, I'm capable. But if there's things that I need to ask people, it's much better, because I'm all about growing. And I know you are too. And I know everybody is, it's really, how can I do better, do a better version of myself, especially if it's things that I know it's challenging or it's hard for me to do. If I'm asking something for you, if I'm saying I'm going to do something for you, I'm going to get it done. I don't care, whatever I have to do, the amount of work to go in if I say it. So I look through that lens. And we also have to look through, Maya Angelou's, when people tell you who they are, believe them, trust them, hear them, believe them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's something, and I'm so glad because, when I thought of some of these bigger secrets that, just because like both of us, we're both in like a public, I'm talking to millions of moms a week and have been for so long. And I share all this stuff. And this was something I felt like
it was your little secret. It was your little self-sabotaging secret that kept you even small inside yourself.
Yes.
I'm excited to share a new weekly podcast hosted by fertility doctor and former fertility patient, Laura Shaheen. Like Secret Life, their goal is to shatter the stigma and bust myths. Baby or Bust features fertility experts and patients, providing encouraging best practices to help anyone try to make their baby dreams come true. The show addresses the numerous questions that people struggling with fertility might be too scared or uncomfortable to ask, with topics including when to see a fertility doctor, surrogacy, emotional stress, and infertility. Follow Baby or Bust on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you're listening now. And there is things I do that counterbalance that. And in the book, I call it that addict self that doesn't want you to win and be your best version of you. And there are things that I do to get out of that mindset. But I wanted to see if there's anything you do.
I would love for you to share. I mean,
okay.
Because the only thing is I go through not, I'm so tuned into it. I get it. I'm aware of it. I shift to something I really want to think about. And then all of a sudden I'm like, wait a minute, I'm back in that loop. I'm back, back. So, and then I go through, is it going to matter in 5 years, 5 months, 5 hours, or knowing just stop? Because in 2 weeks, I'm not going to even be thinking about this person or be thinking about this, small, shitty situation, and maybe it's the big things because they're so big that we don't have the luxury to let them go in our head. We just I'm a fight or flight. I've never flighted, if that's the right way. I've just, we're just warriors.
Well, that's what happens with trauma. You've had trauma, so you are fight or flight. And those things that we don't have control over, people take advantage of, or even if they're big or small, a part of our brain can't process them because they didn't have the tools to process them because we went through trauma. So it's like, how do we stop self-sabotaging ourselves? So what I do is I allow myself first to pause and say, okay, what did I learn from this situation? What are the red flags that I missed? What are the things I wasn't willing to confront? And then I look at, why did I do those things? I was scared. I was in fear. I was going to get abandoned. I didn't think I was worthy enough to have a voice. And then I look at like, okay, is this true today? No. Most of the time it's no. So then I try to just say, so right now, Brianne, you're abusing yourself and feeling bad about yourself because you don't want to step into your power. So those are the things like I do, especially the gratitude, the hitting my knees and praying, all that. Is there a part of my side of the street I haven't cleaned up with that person? Do I need to take responsibility for something? That's a big one for me to get through. And then here's the kicker. And this has changed my life, and it's an AA thing, but anybody can do it. There's a 14-day resentment prayer that you do. You can create it. It's really easy. So say it's Joe Schmo down the street that did you wrong. You say, Joe Schmo, I wish for him all that I want in my life. I wish for him love, happiness, success. And you can name and be specific. Please grant him this and let me let go of my resentment to him. So you say that prayer every night and every morning for 14 days. And I kid you not, by the 7th to 8th day, it is lifted every single time. And I'm talking people that has stolen money from me, did me wrong, a manager that has like messed up my career. Like I'm talking huge resentments. And it's worked miracles for me.
I could not possibly love, and I'm all about gratitude, but I'm literally chills bowing to you because what you said, and I'll normally I'm like writing things down. I took a picture or a few because I wanted
I know,
to
I loved it.
capture this moment, and I never wear these, so I can't be, so it's just us, which is so great because it's so crystal clear hearing.
Yeah.
But I couldn't possibly love what you said in your advice anymore. This, I feel, is life-changing advice for me. And been defrauded, been stolen money, all that stuff, you know what I mean? But to send a prayer, and I'm never thinking ill of that person, but it's this loop that's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And everything you said, from pausing. So once your podcast comes out, and I'll listen, and I'm going to write this down. And also, is this part, because I haven't gotten your book yet in this part. Is this in your book?
It's chapter 8. It's like
chapter 8.
Yeah, it's really looking at the people we hold on to and the situations we hold on to, and how to let go of that in a way where you can grow. And we should actually do like a little like joy of mom, like, let's get rid of some of our resentments. Let's get rid of some of the space in our head that other people, like the rent-free space that people are taking or something, because I know so many people are going through this.
I would beyond love it. And and I know like our friends would absolutely love it too. And I've heard, so much advice, just by, not exposing this, not that I didn't expose it, but it was just like, you're living life, you're doing everything, you're working, you're all in.
Yeah.
But there's so much of this that you hear that, that's where that root's coming from. Literally what you just shared was that. I'm going to tell you one other thing, the most impactful thing that I can hear. Like, I know that's my way to break this, because I want to break these things. I don't want to do it. And also say, what's the red flag here? What am I missing? It's the same thing we do with big things or other things. And I've just shared this years ago. Everybody knew with my ex-husband, I should not be married to him. I wanted to, like, with AA, because for years I went to open AA meetings, which I loved. They're the best. So I was with recovering people and Al-Anon people, and I had carried my 12 books. I was, and I was in my 20s, and everything was just so much more textured when you go through things like this. And I'm going to mix in two things, both will make sense. I was talking to a good friend of mine who probably lives in Malibu. And he said, man, he goes, going through shit is so good. So good. He goes, and you've gone through so much. And he goes, I look at it that every time you do, there's another quiver that you put in your, what's it called? Your armor, your backpack. And he's like, he only wants for his kids, he's a son and daughter, to go through stuff. He goes, I'm there for them. He goes, but my stepping in is really low. I want them, he wants them to learn their lessons before he'll step in. They have to.
I think the best people in this world are the ones that have gone through the darkness and came through the light. Because there's so much growth and you can learn from it, then to go and help other people, because it's not about us. It's not about us on this planet. It's about how can we take the things we've gone through and help other people so they can do better or be better or heal. But yeah, I totally agree with your friend.
And the other thing that I just want to share, a girlfriend of mine years ago, and everybody knew that I should not be marrying who I was marrying. It was just, and she said, Vicki, she goes, I'm concerned you're going to be 35, expecting your third child in the delivery room, and no one's going to know where the fuck he is. Yeah. That was the only advice. I was like, holy shit, what am I, because then it was like, I want the best dad for my, someone who's be present and available and accountable. And I had enough, I don't want to say excitement because it was bad excitement. I just,
well, it's drama. We get addicted to drama. Vicki, you used to be a love addict. It sounds like you used to be addicted to toxic men. It sounds like a little bit
it's wild. I never thought that, but I must have, because I went out, with like one nice guy after the next, but the one that I could help, the one that was a hot mess, the one whose, mom, died from I was fixing. It was like, and a girlfriend of mine who I haven't talked to in years was ended up being a therapist because, it's too long of a story and it was horrible. Her husband got murdered. It was just horrible. And she moved to California, but she had said, you cannot go out with him. He is like the most unavailable, unattainable, and I was like,
you're like, ding, ding, sign me up. Well, I love it. I love that you came on. I love that you shared this teeny secret all people have, but it literally affects your life on a daily basis. It's bigger than like a big traumatic one. It's one that you're doing all the time in your mind. You're spiritually killing yourself. And I'm so grateful you came on and shared all of that. And I'm so grateful we're working together. And thank you so much. Is there anything you want to tell the listeners that you haven't said that could help them get rid of that self-sabotaging snake in their head?
The only thing I would share is that by having, like our conversation, this is going to be game changing for me because I can't even tell you, even it's wild because even the light Brianne is shifting. It's like the dark and the light, if you will. And we're so moving into the light. It's amazing, but honor those little secrets. Yeah. Not just the big ones that you share with your girlfriends over wine, over tea, over, your favorite coffee places. But sometimes these little ones can be the messiest and they can really fuck you up. And it's things that we don't, you know what I mean? We just put it under and we're going to find out we're not alone. And it's wild. I'm losing my voice at the end of this, but I just feel it's all part of this beautiful cosmic dance, cosmic life. Yeah. This, so, for us meeting through Michelle, and I know the impact you've had on our moms, and I can't wait for us to be doing stuff with moms, globally. And, but those little teeny secrets, don't ignore them. I guess that would be my thing.
So beautiful. And I love that you were losing your voice. It was almost like that part of you was like letting it go, like letting go of that shame, that stigma of that teeny, teeny secret that you actually never think about. That is a secret. So thank you so much, Vicki. I'm indebted to you. I think you're an amazing woman, and please keep sharing your truth because it helps me.
Brianne, thank you for all that you do. I'm indebted to you. Thank you for helping women, moms everywhere. You are a blessing and a gift. And I'm just so honored we know each other and to be friends. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And if you want to be on the show, please email me at secretlifepodcast@icloud.com. Until next time. Thanks again for listening to the show. Please subscribe, rate, share, or send me a note at secretlifepodcast.com. And if you'd like to check out my book, head over to secretlifenovel.com or Amazon to pick up a copy for yourself or someone you love. Thanks again. See you soon.
At Firehouse Subs, a portion of every purchase helps provide life-saving equipment to first responders. We make our subs differently because our subs can make a difference. Like our fan-favorite Turkey Bacon Ranch, piled high with tender smoked turkey breast, crispy bacon, melted sharp cheddar cheese, and drizzled with creamy peppercorn ranch. And it's only at Firehouse Subs. Click the banner now to start your pickup or delivery order.